So just finding your place and finding your samastiti. And just feeling your feet. You guys, I think you can see me pretty well. Yeah, so everyone's finding their spot. Excellent. So just finding your feet. You can close your eyes for a little bit and feel your feet. Feel the bottoms of your feet. Feel if you feel one foot more than the other. And that's often related to something going on in your hips as well. And when you're ready, just starting to bring your arms up and maybe stretching your fingers apart if you have any tightness in your arms going on. And just notice how high you want to go this morning. You don't have to go all the way up if you've got a problem in your shoulder. And as you exhale, let's go through the central channel, bending the knees as if a waterfall is flowing down the front body all the way to the feet. And you can even look at your feet, feel your feet, look at the ground. So this is very Tai Chi inspired from that period of my life, living in China and studying Tai Chi, Jian, and Quen. Exhale through the center, maybe doing a ha. And in yoga, as we inhale, we call this prana, vayu, prana, filling ourselves with energy, air, inspiration, and exhale, apana, vayu, the downward flow of energy, letting go of toxins of mind, body, emotions. Inhale, udana, vayu, the upward flow of energy, prana, filling with new energy. And exhale, apana, letting go of what is no longer needed. Inhale, finding your Ujjayi Pranayama, constricting the throat if you like. And exhale. You can do that ha sound, or now Ujjayi, closing the mouth, breathing through the nose. One more time, inhale. And exhale, stay here. Maybe you want to have your arms in a different place, a different height. Pick a height that's good for you and your body, or you can keep your arms moving if that feels better, and just stay here in full Tadasana. If you like, you can interlock your fingers and stretch your fingers up to the sky, or the palms can be together in Anjali Mudra. So pick your medicine for your arms and your fingers. And as we exhale, we're just going to round the spine a little bit. Just started playing with this like cat-cow in Tadasana. Inhale, arching up. And exhale, rounding forward, draw the belly in, feel the legs, the feet. So this is whole body. Inhale, extending. Exhale, bending. And again, you can modify with your arms. Inhale, side, exhale, front. Any height that works for you. And when you're ready, bring your hands down. And we're going to try that balance on our toes. So if you want to play with this, this is something I do in my own practice because of an imbalance I have in my hips due to my scoliosis. I often will take my belt and I'll put it on my ankles, just above the ankles. And it helps me keep my hips aligned, and it helps my strong side help my weak side. So that's an option if you want to play with that. Okay. So you're going to inhale, come up on your toes. And if you have a hard time balancing, this belt might help you again, get a bit more balance. And exhale, hands down by your sides. Just keep this going your own timing. Full Tadasana. You can keep your focus slightly down and in front. Chin in if you like at the top, Jalandhara Bandha. And exhale, coming down. For knees, you might want to bend your knees as you come down. Just have a little flossing through the legs and tracking of the knees. Really feel your toes as you come up, and if you've got those toe spreaders, those can also really help you focus your mind and your nervous system on your feet. So that's one of the tools of yoga. It's called Nyasam. And we touch different parts of the body with our hands, or we focus on the contact of the floor with different parts of the body, or we place a prop like yoga toes or a belt on the ankles, and it directs our attention to that part of our body, directs the energy there, it is said. So if you focus your mind on your feet as you do this, it'll be very different. It will feel very different than if you focus, say, on your arms. Now, you might want to take this up a notch by staying in the full pose. I'm just going to come out. I just see a chat from one of you. Just make sure everything's okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, thank you. All right. So we're going to take this forward. So we're now going to balance on our toes. So if you have a wall nearby that you could play with, I've got one here, or you can take a chair if you like and use a chair. So let me see, I'll just use this one. Okay. Just gonna adjust this a bit. I'm gonna do it this way so you can see me better. Just your hands on the back of a chair. So coming up on your toes, and then I'll show it the wall so you can see my feet too. And as you exhale, you're gonna bend your knees and keep up on your toes, and inhale, come up, and exhale, release. So I'm gonna show the wall now. Sorry, that's probably a little noisy. Hopefully you can see me, and then I'll show without the wall. So just holding on to your wall, inhale here, exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, come up, exhale, release. All right, so is that clear for everyone? Let me just see you guys, you're okay. Alrighty, so we'll do this together. I'm going to show without the chair so you can see me better. And you could have the belt on your ankles for this. I sometimes do that too. So inhale, arms coming up and coming up onto your toes. Exhale, bend the knees. The hands are on the chair. And you can leave your hands on the chair if you like. Inhale, come up. Exhale, release. So you could leave your hands on the chair the whole time. You can do this without a chair, of course. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend. Bend the knees, hands halfway down to the top of the chair. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Just keep this going. And I'm going to show you the difference with the belt. There's a lot more balance. Inhale, up. Exhale, bend. Still keeping the heels up. Inhale, up. Arms up or not. Exhale, release. Just do that a few more times. I'm just going to have a look, see how you guys are doing. And yeah, alternatively, you can have the arms at the side. Some of you are doing that. Nice. Okay, and just finishing up. So that's a lot of work, yeah? Okay, so that's working with the toes a lot and the feet. For people with flat feet, that can be helpful if the feet are not rigid. If they're rigid, coming up in the toes can be contraindicated. So check that with a physiotherapist if you haven't been told that. So we're just going to do a squat now and feel the feet that way. And this is also great for the hips. So inhale, we're going to bring our arms to the sides. We haven't done that today. Inhale, arms side, and you could use that chair if you want it, or just bend the knees and make sure the knees are tracking over the second toe and not going beyond the toes. Bend down to your place and find your Ardha Utkatasana, your half squat, and feel your feet. Inhale, coming up, arms to the side, straightening the legs. Exhale, bend like you're hugging a tree. And this pose is also wonderful for balancing the hips when there's an imbalance. It's wonderful for feeling both feet. So if you've got one side of your body that you find it hard to feel, focus your mind on that foot as you exhale. Inhale, prana, udana, fill yourself with energy. Exhale, apana, relaxing, letting go, embodying. Inhale, expanding, filling up with new energy, vitality. Exhale, contracting, letting go of old energy, obstacles. Do this a few more times. And I'm just going to have a look. Just making sure your knees are tracking over your ankles. Your feet could be hip width apart. Beautiful. Okay, good. All right, we're going to take this to the wall now, and we're going to stretch those ankles and Achilles. and calves. So bring whatever leg is easier for you. So for me, it's my right, so I'm bringing my right back. Whatever one's easier, bring that foot back. And I hope you guys can see me okay here. And I'm gonna bring my left toes up onto our baseboard here. Well, we've got a tiny little ball here for to show you, but enough, I hope. And I'm looking at my back foot and I'm making sure that it's parallel to my front on the little toe side to comfort of the knees. And I'm feeling a stretch. And then I'm going to come forward. My toes are up on that baseboard, but if that's not comfortable, don't do that. I'm coming forward and relaxing my forehead, either on my hands or on my forearms. Inhale here. I'm going to bring my foot back a bit to stretch more. Exhale, bend the back knee and feel it into the ankle and into the deeper calf muscle, the soleus. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. Now for those of you who can do downward facing dog, you can do this also in downward facing dog if you want to take it up a notch. But a lot of us have issues in our wrists, so that pose can become more challenging as we age, with arthritis popping up, often in the hands and wrists. So this is a way to do this otherwise. A variation of Parshva Uttanasana, one-sided forward bend. And now going to your more challenging side. Your stride might not be quite as long. Again, I'm going to look at my back foot, make sure it's parallel to my front. I'm going to put my toes up on that baseboard. And I'm going to bend the back knee and inhale, straighten. Just keep this going your own timing. Again, you could do this in downward facing dog, walking the dog. And just finishing up. And just do a spinal stretch at the wall. All right. Okay, so we're going to do one-sided forward bend at a time. You're going to bring whatever side is easier forward first. And if you don't know, start with your left and move to your right. And we're going to inhale, we're going to bring our arms up. And again, you could modify with arms side if you wanted, or lower, or even just one arm. So I often practice this with just my left arm because that's my concave side of my scoliosis. So if you have one side of your body that's more contracted, you might just use one arm at a time, okay? So I'll show it too. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, coming forward, the arms in front or to your sides. And we're stretching the back of the front leg. Inhale, lifting part way up. With your hands on the ground, you could have two blocks. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, coming up, arms in front or sides, arms in line with the ears if you can, or arms to your sides, which can offer more balance. Exhale, feel your feet. And inhale, coming up. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, arching part way. Exhale, forward bend.
Inhale, coming up.
Exhale, release. Now I am not demoing this way. The back foot can be turned out. So I usually try to keep mine parallel to work harder, but it is often turned out. Please turn the back foot out to comfort of the knee and the hip. But if you can challenge yourself and keep parallel, it's definitely more of a challenge. We'll just try a few more. Inhale, arms coming up, either one side or both. Chin can come in, Jalandhara Bandha. Exhale, forward bend.
Inhale, part way up.
Exhale, forward bend.
Inhale, coming up.
Exhale, release. Arms are weights, so if it feels like too much on your lower back as you come up with the arms, just let the arms trail behind and just have them on your legs. Okay, let's switch sides. Finding your Samastiti, stepping the other foot forward, maybe turning the back foot out or keeping it parallel. And just finding in the beginning of the pose, feel both feet. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, forward bend.
Inhale, arching up.
Exhale, forward bend.
Inhale, coming up.
Exhale, starting position. Inhale, arms coming up in front or sides. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls, head releases. Inhale, arching, upper back up, maybe coming up onto your fingertips. You could be holding on to a couple of blocks or doing this with a chair in front of you.
Inhale, coming up.
Exhale, starting position. Do this 2 more times on your own. And when you're finished, you can step back to Samastiti or step forward if that feels more resourced. And feeling both feet. Maybe you notice a change from the beginning of the class. Maybe you're feeling both feet a little bit more evenly now. Maybe this translates into some energy through the legs and the hips. We're going to stay in that Parshva Uttanasana, one-sided forward bend. And you can do this without a chair or with a chair or with blocks. So I'm just going to show my bench here for the chair. Okay, so that would be my chair version. Or it could be like that. Or if you're doing it without a chair, just staying in the position. So go to your easy side first. Bring one foot forward or the other. Your hands can be on a chair or on the floor or on blocks. They can be on the seat of the chair, the back of the chair. You could also use a countertop or a table or a couch. It doesn't matter. Or you can just bring your hands to the floor. Bring 1 foot forward and go into
half forward bend. And just stay here and breathe. And when you're ready, switching sides any way that's comfortable. I'm stepping forward and then back. Just keeping my head down, but any way that's comfortable, just switching sides. Again, that back foot can be turned out, or you can try making it parallel. Any length or width. Just notice the differences. This one gets into the hamstrings. There's 3 of them in the back of the thigh. So you might feel a difference on one side. And if you know that one side's a little shorter than the other, you could twist your body away from that short side. So I'm twisting to the right, away from my left shortness in my hip and upper back. So that's another nice modification. You can also play with one hand ahead of the other. You know, one side of your body is a little shorter. You can lengthen it, bring that hand forward. And when you've had enough, stepping forward and just sliding your hands up your legs. And coming up slowly because of the change of the blood pressure from having your head lower than your heart to standing. And find your samastiti. How do you feel? Can you feel your legs and feet a bit more? And now we're going to do a bit more of a strength pose. So I want you to go to the wall. We did this last term, and this is one again, you could play putting a belt on your legs if you want, or put a block or a cushion between your thighs. You could also do both. So I'm at the wall here, and I'm going into Utkatasana, half squat. And this is very strengthening for the legs. I'm pressing out into the belt. And I'm inhaling, bringing my arms up. And exhale, bring my arms down. Now as you inhale, try to inhale into the back body, upper back, middle back, lower back, so you keep it from extending too far forward, and exhale, release pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. If you want, you can add a bit more movement of the upper back as you exhale down and inhale straight up. If you get tired with your legs at any time, straighten them and take a break and then start again. So you can be pressing out into a belt, or you could be hugging in
to a bolster or block or cushion. And you could stay not as far down, or you could come halfway down in chair position. And just finishing up. And coming forward, so your feet are in front of you, about 2 feet. Your buttocks is at the wall if you've got a wall, or you can just do a regular forward bend if you don't have a wall available. You could do a forward bend at the chair as well. And just rest here. Bend the knees as needed. If you've got a belt, you can slide it down. Getting the head lower than the heart to relax the mind, the nervous system. And stretch the backs of the legs. And when you're ready, starting to come out of it, stepping your hands up your legs. And just stay with your back to the wall for a minute and rest. Let your blood pressure recalibrate. Those of you with heart disease, just being careful of moving the head up and down, putting the head lower than the heart. Just make sure that that is working for you. Knowing that you're on medication that's keeping things more even, just being aware if it's causing too much dizziness or racing in the heart when you come out. So modification, don't bring the head lower than the heart. Keep the head looking up even when you come down to lessen that inversion effect. When you're ready, coming out of the pose and finding your samsthiti, notice how you feel. Probably feel a bit more embodied, a little bit more in your body, having done all of that. So we're going to move now to some balancing work. So we did this last term. You're going to inhale, you're going to bring your arms up. And exhale, you're going to bring your arms down as you bring one leg up. Inhale, coming back up. With your arms, your feet are together. Exhale, other side. And if you like, you can point the toes as you exhale and inhale, flex and find that standing position. Finding one foot and leg at a time. If this is not accessible, you could bend the knees instead, rather than having the legs straight. So that might be your first step, is just doing it with bent knees rather than straight legs. Feet could be hip width apart if that feels better. I'm doing about 6 rounds. This is quite strengthening for the thighs. And balancing one leg at a time, just finishing up your last round. And then we're going to move to the sides. So inhale, arms coming to your sides. Exhale, balancing on one foot as you bring your hands down and your leg up, one of your legs. Inhale, center. And exhale, other side. Again, I'm pointing my toe as I exhale. Inhale, flexing to come to standing, your choice if you want to add that piece. And when you come to the side, try not to tilt like this. That's a different pose. So try to keep up, straight up. Around 6 rounds or more, depending on the length of your breath. And this one is also quite brain balancing, working on one side at a time, stimulating the opposite hemisphere of the brain. It's called bilateral stimulation. Also, this rhythmic movement is said to be very good for brain health and helps us deal with stress and pain. And just finishing up when you're ready. And then we're going to go to the back. I'm going to show it this way, so see this maybe a little better. So inhale, arms coming up. And exhale, bring your hands to hip height as you tip forward to your place. Inhale up. Exhale forward. For me, this is the most rhythmic of them. Feels like a pendulum swinging. Exhale forward, inhale up. Notice if one side is a little hard to balance than the other. Alternatively, you could do this with your hands coming to a chair or a wall when you come forward, so that's another option. So your hands could come to a wall or to the seat of a chair or a couch. And again, notice if one side's different than the other. Doing around 6 rounds. Pausing between inhale, exhale. And just finishing up. And take a rest in Samsthiti. Notice how you feel. All right, I'm going to move to tree balance.
So it's moving into the hips a little bit. We're going to do more of this when we do our hip work, just a little bit of this. So again, you could be holding the back of a chair or a wall for balance. So feel free to do that. And I'm not going to show it very high. So the main focus of this is going to be working on strengthening the outsides of the hips, the gluteus medius, this area. It said that working on strengthening these parts of the hips can help us with fall resilience, which is really important as we age to try to avoid falling. So pick your easier side first, whatever seems easier, and try to lift that hip. So you can come a little closer maybe so you can see a bit better. So you can kind of stick that hip out and then lift up on it. So lifting up on that hip, that's the most important part. My toes are on the ground, and then I'm just turning that knee out, and then I keep lifting up on that supporting leg rather than letting it go like that. And then bringing my foot just above the ankle to begin with, or the toes could be on the ground. And maybe bringing the foot a little higher. I actually find lower that I have to work a bit harder with the balance part. So pick your medicine, maybe your hands at your heart, maybe your arms at the sides for more balance, or maybe in the classical position with the hands up to the sky. Keep pulling up on that supporting hip. And release. And the other side. So if this is your harder side, just might need to ease into it a little bit more slowly. So starting by pulling up on that supporting leg and hip. Don't let that hip go out to the side, pull it up. Really stand on that leg. Feel the length through the spine, through the top of the head. And then from there, turning that foot out, maybe bringing it above the ankle. Keep pulling up on that supporting side, maybe bringing it just below the knee. Some of you might want to go above the knee, your choice. I'm focusing more on the supporting leg rather than the turnout of the other leg. Hands at the heart if you like. Arms at the side for more support. Pick a spot in front of you, either directly in front of you or on the ground, and maybe bringing your hands up. And after completing 6 to 10 breaths, release. And feel your feet. Just going to do Uttanasana, forward bend. Inhale, arms coming up, either front or sides. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, coming up, arms in line with your ears or to the sides or trailing behind. Exhale, Samastiti, even standing, feel your feet. Keep this going your own timing. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, coming forward, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls, release the neck and shoulders, head down towards the earth, Apana Vayu. Inhale, coming up, arms in line with the ears, lengthening the spine through Ardha Uttanasana halfway, all the way to full Tadasana, full standing, arms up. Exhale, arms coming down. Feel free to modify the arms, they are weights. So you can get rid of them, you can bring them to the sides, you can adjust the height so it's not as hard, or bend the elbows to make it less challenging. More challenging is what I'm showing right now, the classical position with the arms in front. Bend the knees to get the belly on the thighs as you come forward. Again, modification, you can do this with your hands coming to the seat of a chair or the back of the chair or a counter. Countertops are really great. Great props. Just keep it going your own timing. Inhale up, exhale down. With that break in between and samastiti, even standing. And when you're ready, maybe just staying in the full Uttanasana forward bend. If you'd like, you could take your first two fingers, put them in between your big toe and second toe, and create a bit of separation there. This is said to stimulate the liver, this point. Krishnamacharya apparently told all the students to wear those sandals where you have the little loop on the big toe to stimulate the liver and keep cleaning it. Liver is a big organ in yoga therapy, Ayurveda, for heat in the system. If you tend towards having eyes that get red or rashes or a lot of flushness in the face, you could have quite an active liver. Twists and forward bends of yoga definitely help with detoxing, that very important organ of detoxification. And when you're ready, you're going to come to the ground and lie down. And just have your belt nearby. You might need it later. See how it goes. Hoping you guys can see me okay. And just rest for a minute. And feel how down-regulating it is to lie on the ground. So as soon as we lie on the ground, our nervous system down-regulates, puts us more into relaxation. Just taking a little rest. Feeling the inhale and the exhale. Inhale, let. Exhale, go.
And when you're ready, if you have that belt available for you, you can take your belt, we did this a lot last term, and just put it on the balls of your feet, keeping your feet about hip width apart. And if you want to up the ante, you can put a cushion under your thighs or knees, but I'm just going to show it this way for today. So as you inhale, you're going to point your toes, and as you exhale, you're going to flex your feet, pressing out into the sides of the belt. So inhale, point, and I'm pressing my little toe side of my foot out into the belt. Exhale, flex. And I'm pulling up on my thighs so that I'm strengthening the muscles around my knees. So particularly this is for the knees. Inhale, point the toes, and maybe bring the arms up to the floor behind you. And exhale, flex. And bring your arms down. Now, alternatively, with the arms, you could angel arm them up as you point. And exhale, bend the elbows and bring the arms down, hands down as you flex. So that's another thing you could play with if you've got especially stuff going on in your neck and shoulders. This can feel really good. Coming to the height that feels best for you. Bring your mind back into the feet and legs. Inhale, point, pressing out into that little toe side. Exhale, flex. Again, pressing that little toe side out into the belt and pulling up on the thighs. So if you've got one knee weaker than the other, you might find it a little hard to engage on that side. So just give it a little more attention with your mind. And keep this going your own timing. You might tuck your chin in as you do that inhale, Jalandhara Bandha, chin lock, and release it as you exhale. And rest. So you probably feel like you just did a fair amount of work. That's surprisingly challenging for most people. Remove that belt and just take a little rest, either with your legs straight or bent with your feet on the ground. Okay, so we're going to play with one side at a time now. So inhale, bring your arms up overhead to the floor behind you. Exhale, I'm going to bring my left arm down as I slide my left heel up. If you're using a yoga mat, you might want to move that yoga mat so that you can slide on the floor. So you could fold it in half and just lie on the top half, for example. Inhale, extend as you bring the arm up, and then we're going to do the other side. Exhale, the hand coming down and drawing the heel towards the buttocks, and inhale, extend. As you do that, inhale, stretching nice and long. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Make this a core exercise, really using the transverse abdominis as well as the pelvic floor. In yoga, we call this Mula Bandha, the root lock. It's an energetic lock of grounding. Mula, it means root. Our root is our Muladhara, the pelvic floor area. It goes all the way up to just below the belly button and extends down into the legs and feet in yoga. So this is our root. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not sure, this area in Ayurveda, the colon is the seat of Vata dosha, which is a very light, windy energy of air and ether. So this part of the body has a tendency to get unrooted very easily. So we have to keep working on that apana vayu, or that downward aspect of the vata, the energy, to keep grounded and in our root. Now, if this is feeling really easy, you can try with both legs, dragging both heels as you bring both hands down. And you should be feeling this in the core as well as in the legs and feet. Start to exhale before you start to move, so you're really engaging the lower belly, pelvic floor. As you do that, exhale, inhale, upper back, middle back, lower back, as the belly expands. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls, feeling the front body as you exhale. Feel the back body as you inhale, upper back, middle back, lower back, full belly expanding. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. And stay with your knees bent, rest. Maybe angle the knees in, feet wide, or knees over the ankles. Notice which feels better to you. And just take a rest. Okay, so we'll work on stretching the front of the legs and strengthening the back. So it took me a while to figure this out myself, but if you're someone who has tight thighs and very flexible hamstrings, bridge pose can be very helpful for creating more balance in that. It's strengthening for the back body and creates flexibility for the front body. So all these muscles work in opposition. I'm finding my ankles lined up with my knees approximately. If they're ahead, it will not hurt you. So that's another option. Classically, most people suggest that we stack them. Makes it a little harder, certainly. And I've got that belt on my thighs. I'm pressing out. If you want to hug in by putting a cushion between your legs, feel free to do that, and I might demo that in a minute. Your palms can be facing up or down. So classically down, modification up to open the upper back. Just finding your alignment before you start to move, and then when you're ready, start to inhale and start peeling your body up. And I'm pressing out into that belt, and I use the belt more often so that I can get more openness in my hips, but this is up to you. Exhale, gradually coming down one vertebrae at a time. So for this one, I play with actually feeling the breath in a slightly different way. Inhale, I feel the breath into my belly, and then into my chest. And then my chin in. at the top. Exhale, I feel the breath move from my chest or upper back down to my belly or my lower back. So inhale, feeling the belly expand from the bottom all the way up to the chest. Feel the breath expand, filling the front body. Exhale, grounding the back body, upper back, middle back, lower back. Now when you do this time, focus on the legs. As you come up, can you press into the feet? Really press into the feet as much as you can. And exhale, relax. Just do another one like that. Really feel like the feet are the driver now. Focus the mind on pressing the feet into the floor and using that pressure to lift the back up nice and high. Next one, we're going to stay in the lifted position, Dvipadipedam bridge. And if you'd like, you can hold your elbows underneath. You could hold your ankles, which is classical. You could interlock your fingers, roll your shoulders under. So any of those things, if you like, lift a little higher. And if you want to take it up a notch, lift your heels up and see if you can lift a little higher. And what I do is exhale, bring my heels down, and inhale, I lift my heels up. So try to strengthen through the ankles. It's especially good if you've had ankle injuries, sprained your ankles in the past. Sometimes that can translate into issues into the hips and lower back. As we age, those old injuries have created maybe imbalances. So you can work on those injuries still and help create more balance in the whole back. And when you've had enough, come down and rest. Feet wide, ankle and knees in, rest. And that pose is a Brahmana pose. It means it's a pose that helps us expand our energy from the center at the belly button all the way out into all the extremities. The heat, the circulation, everything expands out. And emotionally makes us feel more expansive, more joyful, more connected to others. Just see if you can feel that expansive energy having done that pose, that Brahmana. And just going to stretch the legs after all that work. So take your belt. And you can use a scarf, you can use a towel, it doesn't have to be a fancy yoga belt. And we're going to just start with both legs, and we're going to do one leg at a time. And I like to do this with my hands facing towards the ceiling. So my hands facing that way and then holding onto the belt. I put the belt on the balls of my feet so I can stretch my legs nicely. Your feet can be hip width apart if that feels better. You can use a block between the feet. I've done that before. Try to have your knees, having a look at your knees so you can create a little V victory sign with your fingers and put that on your knees and just see if your knees are tracking forward. So that's what we're looking for. It's just that natural alignment of the knees facing forward. And just stretching here, bringing the toes towards the nose and stretching through the whole back of the leg from the ankles, the calves, the hamstrings, and then maybe even into the lower back as you stretch. Keep the pelvis coming down to the floor rather than popping it off, keeping it rooting down so that you're working actually a little bit harder with lengthening the back body. And we're going to inhale, we're going to point the toes. Feel the other side of the feet and exhale, flex. And this time, maybe bring the toes a little bit closer to the face. Inhale, point the toes, bring the feet away from the hips. And exhale, flex the toes towards the nose as you move the legs a little closer to you. That rhythmic movement. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. A little bit of flossing of the legs and the feet. This can be helpful for nerve issues through the legs and feet. This movement back and forth. Let's do one side at a time. I want you to start with your easy side. If you're not sure what that is, you can start with your left. The right foot can be flat on the ground, or if you want to work a little harder, you can extend that leg out. And you might feel a stretch into that hip flexor. You can also put a cushion underneath the pelvis to get a bit more stretch into the hips. If you tend to have a lot of tightness in your hip flexors, that can be a nice modification. Or even up on a bolster. I will teach that when we move into the hips. As you inhale, you're going to point your toes, both of them, and exhale, flex. You could also have that foot that's down, you could have it pressing into a wall if you've got one. So inhale, swinging away, pointing, exhale, flexing towards you. Just keep that going. Stretching the backs of the legs. After having strengthened them in bridge, stretching them one side at a time. And switching sides when you're ready. You might stay a little longer on one side or the other. Again, that opposite foot, it can be on the ground or you can extend the leg out. Inhale, point, bring the leg away from you. Exhale, flex, bring it towards you. Notice where you feel this. Is it more the calves, or is it more the hamstrings, or is it both? And do you feel one side more than the other? And where do you feel it? Behind the knee, or is it in the insertion points of the hamstrings? Maybe one of them. Sometimes through overstretching the hamstrings at one point or another, you can have some tenderness in there. And you might feel quite a bit of stretch in the opposite hip that's down. And when you feel ready, Bringing both feet into that belt and just repeating the first exercise, and notice if there's any change, maybe having done one side at a time. Exhale, legs towards you, flexing the toes. Inhale, pointing the toes and legs away from you. And at this point, you might decide to just stay in this semi-inversion with the legs up and just stay here and breathe. So to end class, you can either do Shavasana, relaxation any way you like, with a cushion underneath the thighs, or not. You could also put your legs up the wall to end with. Let's see if I can fit into this little spot here. Yes, I can. Good. Okay, got our wood stove here. All right. So this is a wonderful way to get out of your head and into your body and to relax. I'm tying my ankles together with my belt. You could also tie your thighs or both if you have two belts. If you have a sandbag, you could put it on your feet. And just rest here to end the class. We're going to stay here for about 5 minutes. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. Inhale, Om. Exhale, Namo. Means I surrender, I let go. And when you're ready, starting to increase the length of your breath. And just like waking up from a good sleep, sometimes we have insights, bending the knees, if your legs are up the wall, just bending them, relax back. So just like you might have insights when you wake up from a good sleep, you might find that you have insights at the end of your Shavasana and your yoga practice as you awake. And there's a beautiful Yoga Sutra that speaks about this. It says, from dreams we get jnana, wisdom. So from the dream state, or that semi-conscious state, the REM state of dreams or semi-conscious state that we go into in Shavasana, sometimes a lot of wisdom will come out of that. So just finding your seated position to the close. Whatever's comfortable for you this morning. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. Inhale, Om. Exhale, Namo. Maybe just meditate on this for a minute. Like tip of the tongue, roof of the mouth. And Dhyana Mudra, meditation mudra, with one palm on top of the other, thumbs linked. Maybe think of one thing you'd like to let go of to make your life better. One thing that's been bothering you, maybe causing you to become inflamed emotionally and physically with either anger or fear. Or some other emotion. And just say to yourself, may I let go of, and fill in the blank. And if you feel that action is required in the situation, you might add, may I act from this place of detached equanimous wisdom. So that we're not reacting from a triggered state, but responding with wisdom, jnana. Ending with Om Shanti, hands at the heart if you like. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste.